What's up, everyone? It's Charles here with Rocket Punch Army to do another review / comparison. We have number 4 of the Fantasy Jewel release, except you're not looking at it. I'm using this guy as a comparison tool, but did want to let you stare at it for a little while because I still to this point think that it's one of the coolest solo choke hookings ever released. I'm not just saying that because Voltron is my favorite robot. I'm just saying that because I do believe it. And just in case you're only just tuning in to the reviews of these, I'll just give a little backstory. Otherwise, you can forward a little bit. But basically, the solo choke hooking is pretty much either near impossible for somebody to get due to price and or availability. Even though it was released at a $250 price tag, it went straight up. And even though recently BBTS got a hold of a few of them, they were still marked up, but still cheaper than they were at that time. But anyway, along comes Fantasy Jewel. I'm going to show you the box over here. Alright, along comes this company with this phallic looking jewel sword thingy. Okay, they come in this little cardboard box. I do want to give a shout out as usual to tfdirect.com. I really wish they had something set up where they would know if I send people their way. They have a discount code. I don't even know if it works anymore. I don't even know what it is, so maybe I'll try and put it up when I can. But pretty much I just want to say thanks to those guys for keeping me going over here. But this is the front of the box. And by the way, if you want to pick one of these up, that's where you go, tfdirect.com. Tell them Chachi Power or Rocket Punch Army sent you. And again, this takes off from where this dude left off. Where do I have it? The Blue Lion. So this is the Blue Lior, whatever you want to call it. Liar. Fire. And this is the Yellow Lior. You'll notice the box art pretty much keeps getting better and better each time. This looks like a photograph of the actual toy that's been, I guess, touched up on a computer and outlined and everything. The outline makes it look really nice, and of course it carries on the whole sand kind of theme. I do especially like the back. It's got that pop art kind of Voltron thing going on. This could very well be nice artwork on the wall somewhere, but there it is, Fantasy Jewel. And if we just back out a little bit, it's the same thing. It's got the slip cover with the actual figure inside. Very neat layout. I kind of wish like Bandai would have done this. It would probably be a big mess just releasing the robots or the lions separately, but maybe like how they used to do the old Golion boxes or the Matchbox, where you would get like the yellow and was it green lion and then the red and the blue lion and then a separate box for the black. Would be kind of cool. Another thing that would be cool is if this line of replica or KO, whatever you want to call it, would have named this lion bot. Wouldn't that have been awesome? Since the original Golion was made copies of with the lion bot. But anyway, I'm just glad we have this because it gives everybody an opportunity to be able to get one of these. The only thing it gives you the opportunity to get it cheaper, but it's not necessarily cheaper than the original price. These go for about, what, $50 a pop? I think free shipping. But if you add everything up, that's, at least $250. I'm not sure what the price on the Black Lion is going to be. But if you really can't wait for a re-release, which probably won't happen for a long time, this is a great option. And of course, we are going to compare them because they are definitely not identical. So that's something to keep in mind. But anyway, here they are side by side before I take it out of the box. And I will go ahead and open this bad boy up, get them set up, and really delve into the little differences that you might not notice from far away, but when you get up close, you're like, so we'll look at that. But let me go ahead and take this guy out. Of course, the head fell off. That is a feature of it coming off, but I do find that it does fall off a little easier than I'd like to, but it will stay on for the most part, handling it. But just something to keep in mind. You will notice, now that we getting started, it does carry on the whole raw metal thing, where it's got kind of like a texture to it. It's not necessarily chrome. The chrome is, of course, on the feet since they are molded plastic. It's a smooth, very, very good chrome. I venture to say, wow, it's, I don't know if it shows on camera, you can see my fingerprints on there, but the chrome does look a little more on the chromish side of color spectrum. This is, I wouldn't say goldish color, but it's kind of yellowy compared to the chrome on this. This is full-fledged chrome, like silver. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but the other one's kind of, it's got like a little tinge to it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is the chrome is really good on this. And, you know, as far as the texture, it doesn't bother me. It's a little off-putting, I guess. If you're the type that wants something really smooth, you can see there's some texture, not only from the actual molding itself, but also just, I don't know, it's like pitting. But it's not pitting from corrosion, it's just pitting from the whole die-cast process. You notice these little things here. But yeah, another thing, if you are trying to keep it like anime correct, you will notice that the slots here, which are correct for the Yellow Lion, are not slotted on this Yellow Lion, which is actually the way the Blue Lion is supposed to be. This is the original Solid Shogoken. So it's got the Blue Lion legs. I understand the reasoning for that, and probably to keep the cost down as much as possible, and just to get these out quick. I'm sure these guys are just pumping these out quick before their operations get shut down. I don't know what's going on with that, but I think overall pretty good work. It is die-cast metal legs, and they do have the same articulation. I want this almost, let me see. There was a little shaky sounding thing. Just so you guys know, the shaking is not because the legs are loose. You can see the legs will stay where you put them. The shaking is more from like the play in the ratchets. See what I mean? Other than that, the legs will, you know, stay where you put them, which is pretty neat. I don't know if they'll stay like that forever after a lot of use, but I would venture also to say that this would probably get loosened after a while of playing also. But it's like the first thing that caught me when I was looking at this is the face. The face. First of all, let's take a look at this guy. Just take a gander at the face on this guy, just so you can get a feel for how this looks. All right, look at the eyes, look at the mouth, just the profile. It's very neat looking, very cool. And then we'll switch it quickly to this guy. I almost feel like that's the noise he's making with that face. Let's take a look at the teeth here, if I can get this open. All right, the teeth do look a lot better on the original. They look a little roundish. The paint apps also much better. You notice the mouth is dark on the inside of the original, and it's got some detail next to that missile, which is missing on this. So you can see there's a lot of shortcuts just to try and get this out there, you know, at a, I wouldn't say a cheaper price. Technically it's not cheaper. You'll also notice the casting over here is not painted red as it is on this. Otherwise the underneath is pretty much the same. It's got the button here. The button obviously feels much better on the original. This, it's springy, but it doesn't feel as springy. I also noticed there's a lack of detail, or maybe not a lack of, but it's just not as, see the way this is? And if we look at this one, it's got more depth to it. That little silver round thing. And this little, does this move? Alright, let me see. This moves right here. So you can move that. Yeah, this does move. It's just a little stiffer. And you don't get the black in there. You know, it's obviously it's just some of this stuff is stuff you can do on your own. You know, to cut price, they do it that way. But we'll also look at the tail end here. It's just plain. If we look at this, it's got two little squares. This is the original. And notice the tail. The tail does have a good amount of movement on the original, but check this out, what they do on the Fantasy Jewel. They put a little tail with a lot of little joints. So you can actually get a lot more movement, which is pretty cool. It just doesn't have any detail at the end. It would have been nice if it has the actual detail that it's supposed to have. As far as articulation, I'm sorry to keep the head off, but it does pop off rather easily. It does have the pivot points here, like the original, which is kind of cool because I know the pivot points were gone in the Arm Lions. As far as its ratcheting, I'm sure it's going to be like the rest of them. Where, well, here, let me show you this. The ratcheting, I wouldn't say it's the smoothest for a Bandai toy. Actually, that doesn't feel that great. This is the Bandai one. Like, coming down, yeah, it's definitely not one of the better Bandai ratchets. There's definitely mostly plastic going on in there. I can't imagine it's as good as all the other stuff that they have. But this one, I'm sure it's going to be notchier. Actually, this one on the way out, right here. That's strange. Just ready to put that one down and see, like this one, it just comes out easily. Yeah, it's like barely any ratchets. Is it possible that the knockoff feels better in the ratchets? The ratchets seem like there's a lot of stress being put on there, but just as strong as they were the first couple of times I did it, so I can't imagine too much plastic is being worn. Alright, so as far as that, very surprised at the Bandai one. I don't know. This almost feels like it's the KO. But, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. Anything else on ratchets? These ratchets now, you'll notice there's no play in them. Alright? That's a Bandai ratchet right there. You can hear the little echoey thing of the springs. And the ratchets on this, like I said, are loose, but still satisfying. Actually, wow. These feel nice and firm, but like that snap you get, wow, these feel like a little beefier. Wow, feels a little beefier. Not necessarily neater. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe that. Not necessarily neater. They just feel beefier. Like the snaps, once you get past that little ratchet point, feels great. So you'll have a lot of fun ratcheting this guy, but definitely not with the head falling off. Getting back to the face here, that looks a little doofy. Like the eyes are way too separated. Like the eyes on this, like hit that little angle coming down, and there's a space on here, so it makes the eyes look really like separated. I think maybe if they were a little closer it wouldn't look as weird, but on top of that, they didn't bother to paint the entire eye. Like you can see the edge around the eye. I think if they would have done that, probably would have looked a little bit better. Paint's a little sloppy on the edges. Again, you know, I understand what they're doing. They're just trying to make a quick buck, I guess, out of an awesome toy, but just something to look out for, especially since like that's one of the first things you look at is like the face of something, right? As far as the transformation, we don't know exactly how it's going to hook up. It's going to hook up the same, but as far as like how nice it's going to be, but this seems to pop open and snap back together very nicely. This, like the original, like just gets stuck. Like it's really hard to get this out once it's done. I'm sure there's something I'm missing when it comes to that, and I'm probably an idiot for not knowing how to, you know, do that. But yeah, anyway, get that back here. I mean, aside from that, it's a great toy. I mean, if there wasn't an original and this just like came out, I'd be like, whoa, this is totally worth, you know, the money you're paying. But knowing that the original had a retail price when it came out, I'll pop this out right here, of $250. That's how much I paid for my solo choke-hooking. And then knowing that this is going to cost the same, but at least it gives a lot of people an opportunity to have it. The side-to-side motions here, the ankle. Right, let's see how that feels. Feels a little This one, please feel better. Yeah, so this one definitely feels better. Right, so you know, Bandai's not losing the touch, but I'm just surprised the ratchets just feel beefier on this, and they have it. You can tell they're metal with the spring. Only time will tell if they last as long as the Bandai ones, but so far, I like the way this leg part ratchets. Very nice. Although they both feel a little cheap there in that part. It doesn't feel like there's any kind of spring or metal kind of like smooth. It feels like there's a lot of friction in both. But this one, judging by the snapping I'm hearing, just feels a little bit better. And of course you get weapons. Alright, so the weapons, they don't have the slots. These have the round thingamajiggies. And you get one for each side. And of course, let's get that in there. Let's make sure it fits. Yeah. Alright. Then we have the mouth blade. We open this up. See how well this holds in there. It fits really nice. I do have to say that. Like, I'm always afraid things won't tab right with KOs. A lot of the Transformer ones don't. But it's really good. Nicely painted. And that's pretty much it, guys. You want to pick one of these up instead of paying an arm and a leg or more for the Solo Chogokin, or not waiting the 10 years that it's probably going to take to get a re-release. I really hope not. I'm not like as in with the scene with going to, you know, Comic-Con and all that stuff where I can talk to Bandai reps, and you know, like those days when I was with Collection DX, there was a lot of stuff I would find out while walking around with Josh. It would just blew my mind. But you know, without knowing all that stuff, I'm going to say it's going to be a while. But yeah, at least this gives you an opportunity without spending a lot. And then when it finally does come out, you might want to spring for that and have two, have one for display, have one broken down into lines, and save yourself a good amount of cash. Again, tfdirect.com. Thank you so much for sending this out. And oh, I noticed this doesn't have these things. Did they stop doing that, or did I lose it somehow? I don't know. Whoever has this, let me know. I didn't get the little blue things. I think this is from my Blue Lion set. Yeah. So it didn't come with that, which is fine. Those things are horrible. But yeah, tfdirect.com, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Until next time, bye-bye.